All right. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Excited about this week's game. Obviously, getting back into conference play against a tough Alabama A&M football team. They battled last week, came up short Dawson P. So right now they're 0-3 in the season, but obviously playing two FBS opponents and then a really good Austin P team, FCS team. But you see improvement every week, right? Went from 59 points given up to then 30-some points given up to last week. I think 28. So defensively, they're kind of hitting their stride. Offensively, trying to find their identity. So again, hopefully for our defense, we don't allow them to find it against us. So expect a physical football game. We're back here at Bragg, so hopefully that home field advantage gives us a great advantage this weekend. With the student section, the March 100. Our alumni side, like we always have, keep our winning streak going at home. But again, it's a game that our guys are excited about coming off the bye week. We're getting some guys back healthy, and hopefully we'll get close to a full roster by the time we hit kickoff. But be a tough challenge for us. But again, in this conference, you got to be ready to play every week. We know we're going to get everyone's best shot, and we expect nothing different from this A&M football team. So got to have a great week of preparation. Yesterday's practice was pretty good. We've got 3 more, and we'll get ourselves ready to play and see if we can have the type of output that we need to have to get a win in conference play, which we desperately need.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Jared.
So first question is, of course, we met a few times, during last week, during the bye week. Just as that week went on and as week is in the past, just tell me what did you learn from your team throughout those few days?
Well, we learned that morning practices are probably the way to go for us moving forward. The guys actually responded really well to it. So we're going to go tomorrow morning and Wednesday morning, switch up the, monotony a little bit and, just see if we can keep that same level of enthusiasm and attention to detail. And so I thought it was a really good week of preparation. I thought the guys really embraced the morning practices and, took advantage of the bye week. Sometimes you worry if the guys are going to be locked in and focused, but I thought they did a good job of that. So interested to see how this week will continue to go. And I think we'll be able to get a lot more work done, with our morning practices as maybe we have in the first few weeks.
Coach, speaking of the bye week, just how important was it, one, to get back to those basics that you talked about, but just for a mental break, to take a week for yourself, to do what you guys needed to do, and then now you guys can refocus and get back to work?
I think it came at a great time. I think the guys needed to kind of unwind a little bit. It's been a tumultuous 3 weeks for them with everything they've had to endure. Just constantly, in the media, constantly just having all the questions asked in the eyes of the country really on this football team and the high expectations that we've set for ourselves and that were set for us. And so for them just to be able to kind of just go through a week without worrying about a competition on Saturday. A lot of the guys had a chance to go home this weekend for a couple of days, got to go to the high school games and, see guys that, help them remember why they played the game. I think that was one of the points we tried to make. If you go and watch high school football, go back and remember when the game was just pure, there were no NILs, there were no NFL aspirations, all those things. They just played the game the way it was meant to be played. And, for me, it was the same thing. I got a chance to see my son's first ever football game. He's only 5, so he's got a long way to go. They got whooped up pretty good, so they got some work to do. But it was good to just be able to just go out there and just be a fan, just relax and watch just football, And again, so I thought the guys took advantage of it, but it was a much needed week off from playing, and the guys are excited to be back because again, we want to get back on the playing field as quickly as we possibly can to hopefully continue this home winning streak that we built up over the last 3 years.
And Coach, just a quick follow-up from me. Excuse me. Just a quick follow-up from me. Since the new practice week has started, what are some early things that you've seen from Alabama A&M? I know you said they've improved. They seem like their defense starting to hit their stride because they're allowing less points each game. So just give me a little bit of things that you may have seen on film that jump out at you.
Well, they play hard. They get after you. They're a team that they've gone out and I think he's got the most transfers of any team probably in FCS football. I think they may only have one returning guard starter on the defense from last year. I think the other 10 guys are transfers from FBS programs. And so they've increased their talent on that side of the ball. They move around a bunch. They get in your face and challenge you. And so they're going to force you to execute and force you to win your one-on-one matchups. And so for us, it'll be a great challenge, for our receiving core, because they will get some man coverage up in their face. For our offensive line, they will see multiple fronts and pressures. And for Jeremy to be able to see if he can, see where they're coming from, get the protection set the right way, and standing there tall and make accurate passes, and then be able to establish some type of running game. If we can do those things and protect the ball, I think we give ourselves a great chance against this team. But they'll come in hungry. They'll come in, not intimidated by us, and they feel that they have a really good defense, and it's going to definitely put our offense to the test.
Coach, talk about going against a team that's struggling. You know how those teams that's looking for that win want to make an impression. And as you know, everybody comes at FAMU with their best game. Talk about the challenges there for you guys.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say this team is struggling. They're 0-3, but they're 0-0 in conference play. And so I'm pretty sure the message that Coach Maynard is giving his team is, everything they want is still on the table. That's one of the things about early in the season. Typically, most teams aren't playing conference games. We're unique in that aspect that we're playing a conference game within the first two games, but they haven't played one yet. This will be their first one. And so for them, everything that they want is still out there, right? We're a game behind, not them. And so I wouldn't say the team is struggling. They have not won a game, but, like I said, they played some really good competition. UAB is one of the top teams in Conference USA. We see what Troy did just a week ago, knocking off a Power 5 opponent, and then again, you got a Austin P team, that's a top 25 FCS ball club. So again, they played some really good competition. They took some early lumps, but that's typical when you bring a bunch of new guys. They got to gel and come together. And now 4 games in, this will be their 4th. I expect to see a much more refined defensive team. So for us, again, it's about matching their intensity, matching their attention to detail, matching their effort, and for us, matching their execution. And if we do that, then our playmakers on our side, on the offensive side of the ball, will be able to show up and make plays, because we're going to need it. We didn't do that last week against Albany State. Aside from Xavier Smith, who even had 1 or 2 drops, we did not make our fair share of 50-50 balls. And we're going to have to win those. When they challenge us, we're going to have to make those fair share plays to be able to move the ball consistently and be able to put points on the board. So our guys, they know what's in store. And I think this group will be up for the challenge.
Coach, just you mentioned playing in Bragg again. Just one, it's nice to play at home, but especially after a bye week, I'm sure it's a little bit better. Just adjusting again, getting back to work. You get to play at home. How nice is it to be in Bragg this week?
It's always great to play in Bragg. Again, just the atmosphere is second to none. And I know Rattler Nation will be excited. I hope everyone understands how big this game is, for our season. We've been, ever since the Jackson State loss, we are in the same mindset that we were in last year this time. But we're basically in a playoff mindset to where every game counts, and a loss might knock us out of playoff contention. So we definitely have to make sure that we're taking it one game at a time, not looking ahead, but understanding what's required of us this weekend. We have to prepare ourselves to play our best ball up to this date, offensively, and protect the ball, establish the run. We have not gone a game where we have not turned it over on the offensive side of the ball. So we definitely have to make sure that we place much more of an emphasis on protecting the football, and establishing the run. We ran it fairly decent last week, but we got to do a much better job of consistently running the football to open up our passing game. Defensively, I thought we played as well as we played all season against Albany State, but still a lot to be desired as far as getting consistent pressure. I don't think we got to the quarterback nearly enough. And so we definitely got to, pressure the quarterback more, whether we're rushing 4 or bringing 5. And, we have to continue to be optimistic. We did have 2 turnovers, which was good to see. But we definitely got to make sure we continue to be optimistic on that side of the ball. And then in the kicking game, there's still some things that we got to clean up. Had a pretty solid game, but still not the perfect game that we're capable of having in that phase. And so definitely got to be ready for that. So we got our work cut out for us. Great opportunity, great challenge. But I'd much rather have to work those things out playing in the confines of Bradley Memorial Stadium than on the road.
Hey, Coach, after the game against Albany State, can I say that you felt like your offense left something to be desired? Just sort of want to know what you kind of are envisioning as progression in this next game that you want to see, that you're like, all right, we're moving in the right direction. Great start as we get into the BFA conference. Well,
we have 12 goals that we've set for ourselves as an offense weekly. Some of those are situational goals. Some of them are, yardage goals, and some of those. And we haven't gotten close to reaching half of those yet in any ball game. I think we had 3. We hit 3 versus North Carolina. May have hit 3 versus Jackson, if that many. And then I think last week we hit 4 or 5. And so we got to get closer to accomplishing what the goals that we set out for ourselves. And we're very close on a lot of them. First downs. I think we were 1 off of our goal for first downs this past week. Our 2-minute situations. We got to do a better job in 2 minutes. We had a chance to score in that 2-minute situation and we didn't. That's the goal of ours. We still are yet to score, I think, on our first drive. That's a goal of ours, to score on the first drive. We haven't done that. Our completion percentage, taking what the defense gives us, and of course not turning the ball over, and no procedural penalties. I think we had 1 in the game the other day. So again, for us, a lot of those goals that we set aren't lofty. None of them are lofty, right? They're all realistic goals, but they take discipline, they take attention to detail, and they take execution. So for us, a step in the right direction will be getting closer to hitting a lot more of those goals than we have the first 3 games, and that's what we're looking. That's what we're working towards during the week, and hopefully we can get closer to that mark of 12 checks as opposed to majority minuses from our goals, and then we'll be the explosive offense that we feel we're capable of being.
Coach, I did want to ask if there was any, I know you guys were sick of talking about it, but any eligibility updates? Were you guys able to get anything cleared the last 2 weeks, and how many guys are you still looking to clear?
We're still waiting on word for about eight gentlemen. Last update we had, there were 5 that were in process. So hopefully we'll get word on those gentlemen today, hopefully, and so, we're still working through some of those issues. We've gotten closer, but still got a little ways to go. So, hopefully get them back. But again, it's not something that we want to continue to focus on. But, again, it would be obviously beneficial to get a few of those guys back, because they definitely can bring some depth on offense and defense, and then especially and primarily in the kicking game. I think that's where they'll have the biggest impact, is just the amount of reps they can get in the kicking game, which takes more reps off of some of our starters who are having to play full-time duty on offense and defense, and then turn around and have to get 6-7 more snaps on special teams, which obviously can take a toll on your body and your conditioning level, as the game progresses.
Any more questions for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
All right. Appreciate everyone. See you guys this weekend.